that I want to thank Judge Miller for his kindness and his courtesy. I have known Judge Miller and practiced before him for 15 years or more. He is one of our finest jurists. I have always respected him, and I have always known him to be fair and impartial. Any expression of respect I pay to him now is a reflection solely of the way I feel about it, because he cannot help me in this case. It is up to you, the jury. Judge Miller can only instruct you as to the law in the case. I also want to pay a tribute of respect to my esteemed friends, Mr. Jacobs and Mr. Rawlins. I have known Mr. Rawlins for 10 years. He is a vigorous prosecutor, and as a former public defender, he was as vigorous in his defense of prisoners as he is now in their prosecution. As to Mr. Jacobs, I have known him less time, but I have the highest respect and esteem for him also. As for you, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the time and the attention you have given to listening to this case. I want to say now that when I questioned you, although you may not have realized it, I questioned you solely to find out if you were intelligent, reasoning human beings. I did not question you on sympathy, prejudice, or passion. I wanted to appraise your reasoning capacity, your intelligence. That was my objective. I also want to say to you that if I should make certain statements that are not in evidence, I want you to know that I do so not willfully, not knowingly. Please attribute it to some misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the facts. I have lived all my life in Pittsburgh. I was born here. My pre-legal education was in Pittsburgh. The bones of my ancestors lie here in the soil of Pittsburgh. They have bequeathed me one thing, and this is a love of honesty. I yield to no man in my passion for honesty and decency, and I hope to pass that on to my son and to my 2 grandsons. So if I say anything that is not in accord with the evidence, please do not attribute it to any unworthy motive. The defendant here before you now is guilty. He is as guilty as sin. He belongs in the penitentiary. I yield to no man in my respect to lawfulness, nor do I yield to any man in my abhorrence of violence. A violent crime has been committed, and this man belongs in the penitentiary. I am not here to try to pull the wool over your eyes. I am not here trying to, or attempting to smooth out some incidents. That man is guilty of a crime. He is an accessory to the crime of robbery. Anything I say to you here about finding a verdict of not guilty, I want you to understand, and for that reason I want to put it to you plainly. This man is guilty of the crime of accessory after the fact of robbery. The penalty is the penitentiary, and that is where he belongs. So when I tell you now to return a verdict of not guilty, it is a verdict of not guilty with the indictment as a principle. You know Jackson did not testify to vindicate the law. Jackson did not testify to preserve the good order of society. You know that he did not do that. In every instance, his testimony was prompted by his honest desire to save himself from the long sentence that he richly deserved. However, if that testimony is not acted upon with the utmost caution, punishment may be taken away from the real culprit. I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that you have listened to this case very intelligently. The state has given you its theory as to the guilt of the defendant. I have attempted to give you a theory that the defendant is innocent, which you are normally to believe. The judge will give you more